blood prodigy!
Oh, I mean, let me clear my mouth first before we get this OSL cast live on this. Okay, welcome OSL Delphi Division. Food Fighters on the left, Roller Gesture on the right. Wolfie Pup will be on the camera today. Mini Delvin gonna be the chair too, returning from his glorious appearance yesterday. Mini Delvin, how you feeling today?
I'm feeling great, man. I'm glad to be here. It's an honor. I'm excited to cast this set, see what's going on.
Yeah, so we got two teams who are undefeated on the season, Mini Delvin. How do you feel about that going into week one, that you're undefeated?
Well, I mean, it's got to feel good to be undefeated at this point of the season, you know? Clean slate, ready to go. Both teams are raring to get this W.
All right. Now, I believe, though, this Food Fighters team has had some issues scrimming with their ADC. Kazar has just showed up for the first time in 3 weeks. Coming back from vacation, Mini Delvin, how does that maybe affect your first game status?
Well, I think it really hurts your duo lane with specifically with your synergy with your support. So I imagine Yuskos and Kazar are going to struggle a little bit in the duo lane, but we'll see as we get into the game.
Royal Jesters also coming off a strong Golden Apple tournament appearance where they finished second place, could have finished first if they didn't decide to just FF get the final game, basically. Jesters very strong in Golden Apple. Do you think that momentum from Golden Apple can carry over into your week one set?
Yes, absolutely. I think Golden Apple has that momentum you get from that Golden Apple has the most impact earlier on to the mid-season, and then it'll start to slow down depending on the teams.
I have to agree with you there on Mr. Delvin. I almost called you Mexican Tangents, but that's one of the players that we can actually look at here. Also known as Double, hasn't played Comp Smite in quite a bit. This is his first season of Comp Smite in quite a while. How do you think that maybe affects you going into your first set in maybe there could have been about half a year?
I mean, you're certainly going to be rusty. The comms might be weak. Luckily, you're in solo lane, so that doesn't matter too much. You're just kind of playing your lane phase. You got to get the mechanics down, and then rotations later on, but you know.
All right. And with that, though, Mini Delvin, this is the last day for this certain meta, Mini Delvin. After today, we won't be seeing the same item. We won't even be seeing Ruinous Ankh anymore, Mini Delvin. But that being said, what do you think is going to be prioritized in these drafts here, Delvin?
I'm not very familiar with how we draft down in Delphi, but I'm assuming picks like the Chalk, the Hunbats, the Pele, just as you see banned out, all are probably going to be heavily prioed. And Bari, I think, is still very strong, very potent pick. So we'll see what they vie to ban here, but.
All right, let's get into picks and bans here. We see Pele on the left, Kali on the right. Food Fighters very clearly. If you don't know much about Demise, Mini Delvin, Demise has what we call a very strange limited god pull. He is trying to play a tank jungler every game, Mini Delvin. So you're going to see a lot of these full damage junglers taken out of the game.
I see.
Neith's going to be the second ban here. Anything surprise you about these bans, or is it mostly standard fare so far, Mini Delphin?
Yeah, I think this is pretty straightforward. Neith is a very annoying character to play against in mid. Really hard to close the gap on her unless you're very coordinated. So, and the global presences are always very strong. So getting rid of this Neith and Pele and this Kali, pretty straightforward so far, I'd say.
I have to agree with you on that, Mr. Mini Delvin. As we wait for the Jesters here, Mini Delvin, let's just, as Shock gets taken out by the Jester, one of the best solo laners in the game. Mini Delvin, while there's a lull in the action, how's your day so far? You've been doing good today, Mini Delvin?
I've been having a great day, actually. I was just streaming ranked all day, you know.
On God, Twitch TV / Mini Delvin 6.
16, yep. Having a good time, just emptying my brains out, and now we're here, so. Yeah, we see this Chalk and Bari ban. I think that's pretty standard as well. Both
I
strong
have to agree
picks.
with you. Food Fighters also are not going to be prioritizing Bari at all. Neither backliner will play. Hun Bats will be taking out the Jesters. And now we can get the first pick. What strong picks are still up, Mini Delvin?
I think there's a lot of supports that are strong that are up, like the Ares and the Guan Yu. We see that Sobek.
Going to be taken here by the Food Fighters. The one issue that a lot of these people have with this Food Fighters team is that it's a bunch of players who have not played the game in a long time. So we expect to see some rust here, Mini Delvin.
Yeah, I mean, Sobek's not by any means a terrible pick. I think you could have slotted that later in the draft, but he's always going to fit well in the most comps. Just the pluck is very potent. His alt execute very strong as well. So I don't mind it.
Sun Wukong Guan Yu going to be locked in here for the side of the Royal Jesters. A lot of people think Guan Yu's a very good character, Mini Delvin. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, Guan Yu fits well into a lot of comps. The healing and the cooldown reductions it's always very valuable, and his ult can get a lot of value as well with that stun. So seeing the Sun Wukong Guan Yu is not surprising. That's a very strong, well-rounded front line for sure.
And we see this Sun Wukong too, Mini Delvin. It has a attention to kind of go into different roles. What role would you like to see this Sun Wukong slot into?
I think I'd want to see it in solo. Obviously, I wouldn't be surprised if it was in mid, but I think it has a lot more value in the solo lane than mid.
Right, Agni going to be hovered for the side of the Foo Fighters, along with an Odin. This is most likely going to be an Odin jungle, Mini Delvin.
Yeah, I like that. This comp, they have a lot of CC with the Sobek and Agni, and then they have the Odin cage to lockdown, especially into this Guan Yu. I think that's a very solid top 3.
All right, a lot of picks still left up here, though, just for this Jesters team. They have their pick of the litter from ADCs. No ADCs really banned besides the Bari. What would you like to see the Jesters take their draft with these next 2 picks?
From what I understand, Cupid is generally a very strong ADC into Agni with the ult being able to cripple him. So it would be nice to see a Cupid ADC. And there you go. Yeah. I think Athena's a guy you don't see often, but
now, is this Athena solo or Athena jungle, or even Athena support, Delvin?
I'd assume this is Athena jungle. I think that's the role it's played in the most in Smite 2. And with that draft that they have, I actually think it's pretty strong, considering both junglers are vying for these sort of tank setup characters. I think the Athena can find some value in this game, for sure, in the jungle.
I have to agree with you on that one, but we'll have to see where this Jesters team tries to take it. Foo Fighters going to be pondering, appear to needing their at least their solo and their ADC, as Apollo is going to get hovered and Hercules is going to be locked in here for the Foo Fighters.
This is kind of interesting.
Yeah. I don't know if this is no jungle anymore.
I think there's still a world where that's Odin jungle and Herc solo. I was kind of surprised to see this Agni actually going mid over ADC, but that's a good flex. Considering they picked the Cupid, the Agni will now be able to play mid lane a bit safer, assuming that's in mid. And you have an Apollo in the duo lane for global presence.
Sasano gotta be locked in here. So this is actually going to be a Sun Wukong mid or a Sasano mid. Mini Delvin, which one would you prefer to see?
I think I prefer to see the implications of that, because that would mean the Athenas probably support the Guan Yu solo. I prefer to see the Sun Wukong. Right, yeah. So I prefer to see the Sun Wukong mid, I believe. Yeah. I think that would make the most sense. Putting the Suzanne in the jungle.
All right, look at these 2 drafts, not knowing what roles any of the gods are in. Mini Delvin, which draft do you like better?
I think I do like the RJ draft a bit more. They have a bit more of a sort of consolidated team fight, a lot of setup with that Athena and Susano, and then the Guan Yu to sort of fall back on in the late game team fights with the heals and the resustain. So I think that's a very solid, well-rounded comp. Not to say that the other team is definitely any weaker. They definitely have the cage to answer a lot of the issues that they would face. That Odin cage is going to do a lot to the Guan Yu. No one can get out of that cage, I believe. So, except the Wukong ult, and if Susano gets his 3 off first. So I think
and Athena ult.
Oh yeah, true. Yes. So
if you last the entire time with Athena, it'll be my guess. But
yeah.
No, I have to agree with you. I really do like this Jester's comp. I think it's actually just a bit easier to execute too with the just the pure setup off of Athena taunt or Guan Yu just can be
Mhm.
confirmed with a lot of this damage off the Sasana mini Delvin.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that setup is gonna be a lot easier to pull off than a Hercules Sobek for sure. It's a lot more confirmable CC.
I have to agree with you. Now we talked about the Jester's comp. If the Food Fighters were to win this game, how do you think they would go about doing it?
I think you just have to try your best to pick this Athena before she can get a taunt off. If we can get the Sobek to get that pluck on the Athena and just kill him off of pluck, or we get her pluck on them, and then we can use Odin Cage to like zone out the rest of the team. I think that's your best scenario to getting kills. I'm just worried that they don't have the damage to actually kill a tank off of the Sobek pluck, but we'll see.
Both are Both are valid concerns, but I've just been told we're ready to go into game any moment here. And with that, let's log in our first and last Delphi set of the week. The first one being casted and the last one being played. Both teams looking to start out their season very strong. It is IL Dirty Bubble and then Mini Delvin to my left. Let's get this game underway, Mini Delvin. Anything interesting?
Yeah, so one thing I do notice right off the bat is that we see that the Food Fighters team have elected to take us under. Wow, which is, I think, very good, having us under for these objectives, and it seems that the Odin is actually going solo, while the RJ team have just 2 shells. They do not have us under, which means the objective play for this Food Fighters team is going to be a lot more easy and sort of easy to execute than on the opposite side.
I have to agree with you on this Mini Delvin. I know I agree with you on a lot of things, but we're looking at these comps. This early game, where do you think this tempo of the game is going to come from here? Which lane do you think is going to get played through?
I think generally, dual lane is probably the most vulnerable lane or volatile lane to see plays happen. Mid is sort of AFK farm a lot of the time. Solo kind of similar. So I think dual lane is where most of the picks are going to occur.
See, I have to agree with you there, Mini Delvin. As we see, level 2, you guys didn't take over this. Oh, it's still the second wave. My bad. First wave. It looks like that this Guan Yu Cupid able to get pressure over this Apollo Sobek lane.
Yep, pretty straightforward level 1. Guan Yu has the Pro Shred, and then you have the Cupid ADC to match that. Sobek and Agni obviously don't have the best clear level 1. I think as we go into this lane though, once the Sobek has pluck, there's going to be some potential kill pressure from the that dual lane, the Sobek Apollo.
I have to agree with you there, Mini Delvin. As we see, though, it looks like both mid laners are going to poke each other out quite a bit. Bird form going to be used by Sun Wukong, but at the end of the day, not really a bunch of kill threat here coming out of the mid lane. I lied as Skull gets very aggressive onto the Sun Wukong. Sun Wukong going to spawn and clone in, and Skull going to take a lot of damage from archers. First blood goes to the way of Inserio. Skull a little bit greedy on the dash there.
Yeah, absolutely. I like the initiative of the playmaking, but unfortunately there's just a full wave there shooting you the whole time as that Agni goes in. So just going to be a kill for RJ.
First blood going the way of Inserio. His first solo kill for Inserio. And Skull, one of those players who hasn't played comp in a while. His first comp set in about half a year, as stated. Hasn't played since OSL season, whatever it was. So a little bit of the rust coming out there, maybe not understanding matchups.
Yeah, definitely underestimating the damage from that Sun Wukong, and specifically the wave for sure. I think that's what definitely led to his downfall.
Yeah, we see a bunch of aggression here. Adam Yuskos hits the dash. I think he caught the dash there from the stun, but Cupid able to walk away there in time. Yeah, we see the Cupid dash on the ground there. There's not a lot of damage coming out enough to take advantage of it.
Yeah, unfortunately, this RJ dual lane has a lot of health sustain with this Cupid Guan Yu, so it's going to be hard to punish them this early. It's going to have to be like an insta-kill burst and probably a jungle rotation that takes this Cupid down. Speaking of which, you see the Susanna coming over.
Susanna going to be walking over, maybe looking for something, but no wards on the map for the side of Foo Fighters. Need to play this carefully, but it looks like he's just here to confirm the other team's purple buff as Guan Yu makes the rotation over. Sun Wukong looking for camps, maybe spots Skull a little bit too far up in mid lane. Can't really do much. And Surya gets stunned. And Surya needs to be careful. Gets hit with the 3. Gets up in the cloud somersault and able to live barely. Skull not deterred by the level disadvantage or the earlier first blood. Still playing as aggressive as possible.
I mean, Agni's hitting his abilities, so...
Gonna be spawning here. We see Susana made the rotation. Athena coming over. Soul Lane gonna come over here. Need to be careful if you're the dual lane of Food Fighters. Need to get Hercules. Gonna take the boulder here, but not enough damage come out. Huge shove hit 3, but not enough. As the 3v4 continues, Food Fighters gonna try to take the fight. Beats out on the Cupid. Yuskos dies for the sit of his ADC. A 2 for none for the side of the Royal Jesters. And it is now an 0-3 lead for the side of the Jesters.
Yes, that Athena alt rotation is just so potent for that RJ team. Getting that rotation really made the difference because Herc hit a ton of abilities there. Unfortunately, they're just down a man, so they just lose the fight pretty tragically.
How worth is that rotation if you're Soul Lane? You do rotate across the map. He didn't have TP up, has to walk back to the lane. Are you afraid of maybe giving this Odin a little bit of a lead, Delvin?
As long as you're putting your team ahead, which they did, I think the Athena is fine giving up, stacking some farm. I don't think there's really going to be any kill pressure in the solo lane. And if this Athena can just keep out rotating this Odin throughout the early to mid game, a level of 2 lead should not matter too much.
Well, we see Tangent's taking a lot of damage here. Some early poke from Wukong probably helps a little bit. But, as you said, not really a lane where anyone should ever die in.
Yeah, it would be different if this Athena did not have Shell, but since she has the Shell, that means if this Odin ever has a cage opportunity, the Athena can just walk out, and it's not really too much of a threat.
Early game here, about a 1,200 gold lead for the side of the Royal Jesters. Where do you think the first big fight is going to come out of Mini Delvin? When do you think these teams decide to group and take each other on?
I'd imagine if you are RJ, you are looking to play the Skull Fury when your Athena comes up again. And if you're Food Fighters, I'd like to see them sort of just try to stall it out and just sort of push out the solo lane as the Odin and try to force the Athena rotation.
Odin may need to be careful here. He may not get time to rotate. Can I get the taunt? Going to be good. A lot of damage coming out for the side of this Athena, but just not enough to kill the Odin. Has that Genji guard on, just enough defense to keep him alive against his Athena. Demise, however, got to be in the area. Athena does spot him out, able to walk away. Huge blink from Demise. Gets the pluck, hits the one. Oh, not going to be enough just yet. Phantom Shell already expended, and now Mexican Tangent gets the last of them. Thick quick, but that's a single for the RJ Jesters to go into this Gold Fury pit. Not a lot of potential going to come out of the FF Food Fighters just yet. Gold Fury not burning too fast, however. Susano going to be helped in for the DPS. We see now, though, FF trying to walk up, but they will not be in time, most likely. Susano comes out, Heartless, able to confirm it now. Sobek in a world of trouble. Adam Yuskos dies for his greedy play, and a huge taunt coming onto Khazar, getting him killed. A nice Athena rotation as a 2 for none, and Gold Fury go the way of the Jesters.
Yeah, that's a very tough position to be in as Food Fighters, considering I think the Herc made a decent play by ganking that Athena to prevent the ult rotation. But the fight got delayed enough at that Gold Fury to where the Athena is able to ult over anyway. And Foo Fighters committed a bit too much to try to defend the gold. That was probably just going to RJ with the numbers advantage.
Syria needs to be careful. If he gets by a pluck here, he could be in a world of hurt. Does not use the ult, however, just yet. Going to be quarter health is in Syria, but Skull not in position to follow up just yet. And Syria able to get back to his T1 tower.
Yeah, the Wukong's probably just, it's a little greedy. Oh, he does not have ult up. Okay. Yeah, he just.
Oh, I don't know when he used it. Yeah, I don't know when he.
I didn't notice either. Must have been at the gold fight.
I think it was actually before the gold fight, the mid T1, where you saw the jungle 2v2. Maybe it was used there. But yeah, no, nice way to live there from in Sarah, even if he was a little out of position.
Yeah, it turns out Wukong's a pretty safe god, pretty hard to punish, especially since he has beads. Just guaranteed bird form, beads and out. Pretty hard to kill.
Athena going to be looking for an aggressive player. Needs to be careful. Both Demise and the Hercules are here. Demise, however, very poked out. Ten just needs to be careful. McThick misses his whole kit, however, and McThick is gonna make him pay for real quick. McThick gets killed 0-2 and 3 on this Athena solo, but I would say it's still probably done its job so far.
Yeah, I mean
It's Khazar needs to be careful. Going to get dashed in on. Going to get one auto, and Bobby Louie has solo Khazar. 2-6 lead for this Jester is about 1,700 gold.
Yeah, this is a brutal position to be in. I think, like you said, like the Royal Jesters being able to get a lot of gold value on this duo side with the Athena rotations is very strong, but now we're getting to the point where this Athena is just very, very far behind, and it's going to be hard to bring that solo lane back. And Tangent should be able to impact the map a lot more than this Athena at this point in the game.
I have to agree with you there, double or not double. I keep trying to call you double, Mini Delvin. Like, I don't know why. I got Mexican Tangents on the brain right now. Naga gonna go away the Chaos team, so the gold lead even goes even further into the way, and now a 2,000 gold lead for the side of the Royal Jesters.
Yeah, it's a decent position to be in. I'd like to see this gold lead pushed further on this next Gold Fury. And we see a little fight breaking out in solo.
Tangent's gonna up down, get taunted into the Athena 3, but the damage is gonna be good enough. Shell gonna come out. Athena in a world of trouble, but Susano is here like a white knight in the basket. Dodges up downs into the Susano and Hortlaws. Gets the kill on Mexican Tangents. Just a little bit of a misplay there, but meanwhile, in mid-way, Guan Yu gonna try to ult in, needs to peel off, misses the stun. A lot of damage on the Summer Call, and we get the Cloud Somersault, and Guan Yu also able to live. A lot of abilities used by the Food Fighters in here. Adam Yuskos is in a world of trouble. Barely is living so far. The heal not good enough to keep him as McThick TP's in with the ult, taunts Yuskos, and Yuskos is down. And now in the back end, Skull gonna get caught by the tornado. Skull also found a 3 for none so far for the side of the Jesters in this fight, and they're looking for more. Demise goes out under tower. 4 men under the tower, and Demise die. Now 2 to 10, and the gold weed swells to 4K for the size of the Jesters.
Yeah, we can't see Sonodas that this Athena just is able to continuously get these ults off and rotate these fights that are breaking out and just bring her impact to the whole map.
Athena gonna be in trouble. Dashed in here, does not have the shell available to her if Odin chooses the cager. Gonna hit the stun. Athena is all but dead. Everything but the shouting over. We're not. The tick is gonna be good enough to find him here, and Athena is making good plays. But I feel like her deaths have been so far very avoidable. Mini Delvin.
Yeah, absolutely. Some definite overextensions off of already completed plays.
Gotta be burned by the time you finish that sentence, Mini Delvin, as Baba Louie confirms the Gold Fury. FF looking for a fight. Cloud Somersault able to get into the air. Cupid gonna be dropped in the middle of the Odin Kid. Gets the mez on Adam Yuskos. Adam Yuskos needs to be careful. There's a Sun Wukong in the air. Hortlaws gets found by Demise. Demise gonna chase after her. Kazar is in the air looking for blood. Kazar trying to find anyone. Lands on the Cupid. The dash is, however, is gonna be good as FF takes the kill and run away. And this could be a Pyromancer, Delvin.
Yeah, I still think... Looks like we're getting a purple invade, which is fine.
Oh, Adam, a bit of low help. Needs to be careful here. Kazar gonna have to use the beads to immune the stun. Cupid gonna dash in here. Heart Bomb gonna be good. Yuska's barely able to win. The stun's not good enough, but the tick damage gonna be able to take him out. I don't even know what he died to.
I think the Cupid had red buff there, and that's just what secures the kill. You know?
Demise, meanwhile, in mid lane, gets killed by the Athena rotation.
Yep. A lot of Athena rotating, that's for sure. Very hard to deal with in this early to mid game, but I think as the game gets later on, the Athena value will decrease slightly once the team fights are grouped up.
Kazar being forced under his tower, about to lose it, has a Guan Yu just standing in his face here, Mini Delvin, and not a lot he can do about it.
Nah, you just give up this tower, walk away. Unfortunately, the Sobek game puts you in a bit of a dampered position for the steel lane.
4 to 12, still about a 4K or 6K gold lead here for the side of the RJ Jesters. How would you, if you're the FF, how do you want to play this, Mini Delvin?
I think we need to just get some value out of this Apollo split push potential and just try to farm up in this duo lane, push these towers, sort of give up a little bit to this RJ team. Potentially stall out a fire play if we can. But with this mid T1 down, it's going to be pretty challenging.
Athena going to be ganked here. Pyromancer going to be done by the Jesters. Athena still half health, not taking a whole lot of damage. Gets her dash caught by the wall. Going to be here for a while. Odin Sobek, not known for doing the most damage in the world. Gonna be still looking for it. Rotation coming in. Sobek pluck maybe saving her temporarily as the pluck threw her in the wrong direction. Able to dash out, and now Hortless is here. Hortless is gonna come in with the cavalry. 4 Jesters are inbound here. Sobek forced to use Lurking in the Waters. Guan Yu ult not gonna be used to stun in time. Sasana gonna use his ult, knock up the Sobek. Sobek is just barely alive. Pluck gets blocked, and Sobek gets killed for his hubris. A little bit of a misplay there, but a nice rotation there from the Jesters.
Yeah, unfortunately at this stage of the game, we see this Athena has the Spirit Robe online, so unless we're investing our jungle rotations to kill this Athena, I just don't think it's going to be possible, because with this Sobek CC and this Odin stun, it's very hard to kill this Athena with that item.
Jesters claim right T1. Foo Fighters able to return the T1 in mid. Order team found the Naga to reclaim some of that gold. Good news about being down early, Mini Delvin. Not a lot of objectives to do anymore.
I suppose that is a silver lining.
The taunt gonna come out here on Mexican Tangent. Tangent has to use Shell to try to keep himself alive. Is still running away. Has some decent, nice stun to keep him alive, but Guan Yu said not enough. Athena gonna ult on top of Mexican Tangent. Mexican Tangent found on his tier 2 here. And makes you wonder what the rest of FF is doing. They're looking for this Cupid as of right now. Blink in from Demise. Demise gonna get plucked here. Gonna get shoved back. Caught. Dash caught. Cupid gonna be used for not though as Kazar shuts down Baba Louie. And that's a nice little shutdown there from the FF team.
Yeah, I think FF, that was probably the best play on the map they could have made. Killing this Cupid means that RJ is going to struggle to get to this fire this early on in the game. Granted, it's not up for another 10 seconds. Also, as the Cupid, though, considering your whole team was in solo, you are definitely the only play on the map. So being that far up was a little bit of a misplay, I'd say.
We see rotations here. RJ looking for something. We blurted it in. Going to be able to back off, however, as Gold Fury is the next objective up here, Mini Delvin.
Yeah, but I'd like to see both these teams just full-on 5-man group at the Skull Fury and just play it out. If you're RJ, you're looking for the fight, considering you're down asunder, and if you're Food Fighters, you want to potentially just sack your Odin to get the steal.
Well, Guan, you're going to get caught here with a double stun. Take some put, but going to heal it back up. We notice a lack of anti-heal on the side of this Food Fighters team. Huge block, though, from the Sobek. Going to force out the Cloud Somersault pretty early here, Mini Delvin, and that's a big cooldown to go down.
Yeah, absolutely. That forces this Sun Wukong to play a lot safer in these fights and farther back with this team, which is a very good position to be in.
FF got to look to pull, but they spotted someone in the back here. A lot of damage coming out on this Athena. Athena already half health before the fighting starts, and a lot of pokage coming out, but Demise didn't himself escape unscathed. Now, Susanna looking for some damage. Guan Yu going to charge in the middle 3 of them. Not going to eat a lot of poke for his challenge. Guan Yu going to heal his teammates. Dash in from this Athena. Athena looking for a taunt. Will not, however, get it off, as now it looks like the Jester is going to retreat back towards the Gold Fury. It looks like Adam Yuska's don't want to do that. Adam Yuska's going to try to knock up a couple people. Athena abilities are coming out. Odin needs to be careful. Odin jumps. Odin, a lot of damage coming out. Not off fault. Kazar jumps in. Susanna Typhoon going to hit 3 people. Yuska is down in this front line for the Food Fighters is down as Jesters look to seek to claim their prize here, Delvin.
That's exactly what you want to do with this Athena pick. You are looking to kill this enemy team front line and then play the objectives. That's exactly what we saw.
Athena
looks like Agni might get caught
here.
out here.
Berg coming. Demise hits the shove onto the Suncon. Suncon needs to be careful. Does have Somersault available to him. Demise taking a lot of damage. Athena going to provide a lot of shielding onto the Suncon. Cloud Somersault going to be used to get over the wall. Chase down Skull. Potentially Skull able to walk away though. And now Jesters are looking at this Pyromancer to expand this gold lead. Oh, looking at Fire Giant to expand this gold lead even more.
Yeah, I think this is a perfectly fine play. You have a lot of sustain. And you're just, again, playing for picks here, I think is the essential part of this play. Is playing around this Athena taunt and looking to kill his front line as they come in.
Fire Giant at 4k health. Not a lot of potential going to be coming out. Athena going to be looking to hopefully stall at least a little bit of the FF push, but FF able to not find her. And looks like Jester's able to get all 5 of their members out of this Fire Giant pit with the dagger and Fire Giant butt.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised Two Fighters gave that up so willingly. They were not in position to even contest it with this. I believe Sobek still has Thunder up, but they are very far behind. And now they sort of forced to play back at these T2s and defend them, which I think is possible with this comp. You have a lot of front to back, so I'd like to see this Food Fighters team make a stand at their towers, specifically right and left.
All right, we see them though. Here it is. 8K gold lead power play here for the Jesters. We see it in the item advantages here. Several items ahead are, for instance, I would say the jungler almost having a full item. He has that all-important tier 2, it's not Skegok, it's the other one, Delvin. Infused Axe.
Yeah, one thing I would like to see from the RJ team, which I'm sort of surprised they haven't grabbed, is an erosion from one of their frontliners to deal with these Odin shields. And also, like you mentioned earlier, they have a brawlers now on Food Fighters, but the lack of anti-heal into a Guan Yu Cupid is definitely slightly concerning as well.
Well, we see Jesters taking a little bit of an odd approach. Going to shove this right tower in first. Not grouped up are they, but neither are the Food Fighters on the opposite end. Or tier 2 gonna go down rather quickly. Now to see what happens here. Hercules found the jungler, however, in mid lane. Susano gonna be in a world of trouble. Does trade himself out, but dies. Athena just comes in, hits the taunt. Skull gonna be in a lot of trouble. Athena found Skull, and now the rest of the Jesters are here. Cage gonna be used, but ignored. Phantom Shell gonna be good enough. They're looking for Kazar. Kazar is all the damage for the Food Fighters right now. Somersault is found on Kazar, a lot of damage still. Sobek able to lurk in the waters to able to get out, but it's just the tanks for this FF team, Delvin. They're the only ones still alive.
Yeah, that was very unfortunate. The Odin getting a good cage to zone, but just the Phantom Shells coming through, and it looks like an end call.
Up in 5K. There's a tower up. This is not the easiest end in the world. Demise is going to be up in 5 seconds. Demise is up. Sundering going to be used. 5K is the health. Narwhal dies. Pluck is good. Yuskos dies. Shoved in the fountain is somebody. I can't even tell that is down. 3K health is the Titan. Skull is up now. Skull going to get a lot of damage off. Baba Louie is found, and now the Jesters, a little bit of a mental gaff there, Mini Delvin.
Yeah, it was very unfortunate because I think if the Guan Yu did not botch the dagger, I do think that end call actually works out for them. But unfortunately, losing out on that dagger value and dying pushes the Titan to hit everyone else on your team, which means they are not able to end, and the enemy team is able to push back.
Maybe a little glimmer of hope here for the Food Fighters. No objectives up, but they can safely farm for maybe the first time in about 5 to 7 minutes here, Delvin.
Yeah, so I'd say the only worry is how low your Titan room is, but with these mid waves coming down, these Fire Minion waves giving you additional farm in the mid lane, that is a very strong thing to have. And also, I don't think you necessarily need to contest this gold if you're Food Fighters, considering it's only going to get a right bird deactivated, which means you can focus on farming and just getting caught up.
I just have to agree with you there, Mini Delvin. But yeah, you're a good point. This Gold Fury not really worth too much to the Food Fighters. If you're this Food Fighters though, how like you're kind of down. What is your like any punchback? So far the only punchback they've had is when the Jesters have misplayed.
Yeah, at this point, I think you have to look to play this next Fire Giant, and you just have to take the 5v5 and all in, because otherwise, if RJ are able to get this next Fire, you're putting yourself in a very, very weak position if you are FF at the stage of the game.
Pyromancer gonna go to the way of the RJ Jesters. Little contention out of the FF Food Fighters. Go to see this sub bomb, I like to call it, or the flare or the tower buff hit this left tower. But we see these Jesters maybe looking to group around this this right bird.
Yeah, I like the call because if they wipe Food Fighters here, I mean that's game.
Well, they're gonna get stunned and plucked. Beads are gonna be used on Baba Louie, and his beads are gone. And Jesters are gonna turn their tails and run here. Do not want the fight anymore. But it actually looks like they're gonna stay here for a bit. Double gonna walk out here. Some damage gonna come out onto Demise. Demise able to avoid most of it. However, looks like just a lot of dancing right now. Fire Giant buff not on anyone. Jester's taking a little bit of a risky fight here. Gonna look for a dasher from McThick. Gonna hit the both backliners. Huge taunt. Cage gonna separate the fight. Huge hurt bolter knocking up 3. A lot of damage coming off. Fields is gonna try to get him, but Yuskas is trying to get. He finds Portless, and now Adam Yuskas doing a lot of damage. Cloud Somersault gonna be good, but Guan Yu is found. Kazar can find Kazar here. Normal gonna go down, and Kazar gets another. That's double kill for Kazar. Triple for Kazar, but he pays with life. But Food Fighters are still alive. Demise finds in Serio, and it's a team wipe for the side of the Food Fighters there, Delvin.
Yeah, I think that was definitely an overcommitment by the RJ, specifically with the Athena dashing in. I think what you want to do there as RJ is just keep them at that Phoenix, preventing them from farming and warding the fire, and then just fall back to fire and do it. That push into that Phoenix, although you are favored in that fight, it's just a risk that you don't need to take in that position. And it gives Food Fighters a chance to come back into this game and get his mid-bird back and potentially look for a Fire Giant.
Yeah, Demise, I believe, hit a 3-man knockup in the middle of that fight with the Rock, if I'm not mistaken, the mini Delvin. And it's not somewhere you want to be inside an Odin cage with a Rock heading at you.
No, absolutely not. That was definitely the fight turner right there for Food Fighters.
Yeah, it's the only unfortunate thing for Food Fighters there is that Kazar died, but he did take 3 out with it.
Yeah, that does prevent a Fire Giant play from Food Fighters. But like we said, like getting this mid-bird back and just sort of putting this game back into a stalemated position is exactly what you needed as FF. And now RJ have to be a bit more careful playing this Fire Giant.
RJ have bush control, no wardage in the bush. So FF would need to be careful if stepping up here. Ward is found there, however. The big ass eagle on my bad. American eagle. Gonna be in the bush there. And now we get to see a Fire Giant Mambo here, Mini Delvin. But how long do you think this lasts?
I think it lasts as long as essentially we're looking at these Athena and Sobek and Hercules are the people you should be looking at here and seeing which one gets the engage off, and then the fight's just going to take on from there. It just depends on who gets the first CC.
I just have to agree with you, Mini Delvin. But yeah, no. Let's see this. Looks like a bunch of people in this bush going to be spotted out. Need to be careful. Jump in here from Hortless, but they're all going to be caged. Guan Yu forced to ult out, and a lot of damage is going to come out here. Hortless able to get plucked in. Lurking in the water is going to be used, but not a lot of damage, and some ults expended here from the Food Fighters with... I guess they use Athena and Guan Yu ult, so it's about an even trade. No, maybe a little bit.
I mean, you're not too upset with that ult trade.
Oh, taunt here, gonna be good here. Guan Yu dashes in. Field of Love gonna hit 3. Can it proc though? It does get the Mez off onto it. Typhoon hits 2. Yuskos though still playing healthy. Low health. Athena's in there. Kazar gets found by Inseria though. Inseria gonna try to eagle out. Gonna get Yuskos 2 and 2 for none so far for the side of the Jesters. Not enough damage here coming out from the Food Fighters.
Yeah, it's very unfortunate.
Need to be careful.
Breaking out, you know?
And Serio had to use beats there. Gonna be taunted here by Athena. It's not able to get the taunt out. Shred's gonna be good though. Gonna try to stun. Demise gets found on the back though. Now it's a 3 for none for the side of the Jesters with Narwhal still charging. We're gonna take some resets here from the Jesters and then look for this Fire Giant, Delvin.
Yeah, I just think that fight for Food Fighters was very split. Unfortunately, the Herc and the Agni got caught out in mid lane and separated from the rest of the team, which is a lot of CC and damage lost for the Food Fighters fight, while the other 3 were getting ran down.
You see Jesters going to creep on this Fire Giant. Do you think the FF Food Fighters could try to contest this?
I think your best bet is with this Odin. I mean, he has the Sunder, he has Cage. He can look to just jump in and steal a Sunder, but other than that, I think they need to play very safely here.
Odin forced to jump out. Agni going to take her back. It looks like FF going to give up the Fire Giant here and try not to cost anyone. Odin needs to get out. Tangent's going to be caught in a bit of trouble here. Going to get birded out. He uses the cage to self-peel, barely catching the Wukong on the outside of it, and is able to walk out here, Delvin.
Yeah, I think that's a fine trade. You put up an attempt to steal the fire. Unfortunately, not able to get it, but no one dies, so that's a win for Food Fighters. Although RJ obviously get fire and pyro, and look to go gold, it seems.
Goldfear is going to be up. It's going to be able to disable 2 of these Phoenixes here. Where do you think this Food Fighters team should take the fight? On the first Phoenix, on this Goldfear? Where do you think they should take this fight?
Well, considering they're not grouped up for this gold, I'd assume they're going to have to fight at their Phoenixes, which is an unfortunate position to have to fight, but it's just how it is.
Well, they're actually going to not go for the gold. Instead, just knock the tower out. They're going to try to grab this Phoenix to get all 3 birds here. And Kazar going to be in right lane, so not a lot of contention is going to be coming out of this Food Fighters team.
Yeah, I think that's proper from RJ. They have plenty of time on this Fire Giant. They have really all the time in the world. And getting that 3rd Phoenix potential breakdown with this Ancient Fury is exactly what you need. Just play it safe.
All right, RJ. Attempt number 2 at a siege. Let's see how it goes for you. Demise, importantly, not here yet. Needs to back relatively soon, or is he going to be late? Going to get his back off. RJ going to grab the wave here. And now, what do you look to do if you're RJ? How do you siege this?
I think you just have to play it a little bit slow and just let the Athena sort of front line, not full commit, but just have that presence of the taunt. And then just let the poke this bird down with Athena sort of playing the front line.
All right. Siege is on. Susano with Dagger is going to be in the mid lane, trying to be contested by Demise. A 4v4 on the left. Demise just trying to get as much damage off on him, try to get him off. Typhoon going to be good in damage here. Get the Magi's Cloak. And now Typhon is going to go in onto the Hercules. Meanwhile, in left lane, Odin Cage has been expended. Phoenix is not going down just yet. Cloud Somersault going to be used by the along with Guan Yu. Going to be used. Gold taking a lot of damage. Horthar finds Demise in mid lane with the Athena ult, but that could be the go button for the Foo Fighters. Foo Fighters looking for some damage here. Left Phoenix is down, and now a rotation in from mid lane would be disastrous, but they look to get the bird instead. Here comes Guan Yu. Guan Yu dashing in. Here comes Insurio. Insurio gets a huge slow onto Gazar. Gazar falls, and now Sobek going to get taunted in and killed by Mythicla quick. Only 2 members of Foo Fighters left. Gets a stun off, getting a couple of beads, but the Titan dies almost immediately, Delvin, and game 1 goes to the Jesters.
Yep, just a very clean, well-played game from Jesters with just very strong 5-man groupings in that late game with Guan Yu. FF were not able to push through that Guan Yu sustain and really get any kills.
Have to agree with you there. I would say Jesters had like big control throughout the entire game. FF never really had a leg to stand on until Jesters messed up that siege and right, and then they immediately lost their legs by losing a split fight around Pyromancer.
Yep, pretty much sums it up. That fight back on that right Phoenix was a very strong place to come back. Unfortunately, like we said, Kazar got picked, so they weren't able to get fire, and essentially that just made the game sort of still even for RJ to able to get back to that fire giant and take it.
All right, with that though, Mini Dove, we're going to take a break. Come back in game 2 for about, I don't know, 5 minutes. I don't know how long these breaks are. Will FF be able to come back where RJ secure the 2-0 sweep? We'll be right back. Welcome back. I believe it's still OSL Delphi Division. RJ on the left, Food Fighters on the right. Above me on the camera in the sky, we have the Wolfie Pup and featuring Chicago. And then we have Mini Delvin. Going to be on the other chair today. My chair already big enough, though. Mini Delvin had to get his own. How you doing today, Mini Delvin?
I'm doing just as good as I was when we were watching game 1. So I'm having a good time. We already see the Chalk band coming through right away.
Yeah, Chalk, one of the best solo laners, if not the best solo laner in the game, so not very surprising. We're also going to see this Athena ban, and we were talking about it after the game. We were like, this Athena, it did its job, was impressive. They couldn't deal with it, and they acknowledged that, Delvin.
Yeah, I really like that. If you can't adapt to the pick, just get rid of it. And I think they should be doing that as well. I wouldn't be surprised with that Guan Yu pick.
Neath also going to be taken out here from the Jesters. FF still, there's a bunch of picks still left that people would consider strong. You have Kali, but we're going to see some Wukong taken out. They do not want Inserio on something safe here.
Yeah, we're gonna see, it looks like just a lot of target banning from this Food Fighters team. They clearly thought the Sun Wukong was an issue as well. So I do not mind that. Get them off their comfort from RJ, and that's a good strategy. Sure.
All right, well, we're going to see RJ. They have Shock Neath going to be banned. A bunch of picks still up. You have the Ganesha, the Pele. Pele also going to be taken out from the Jesters. But back to the story, we still have Guan Yu, Kali, Ganesha, other characters that people perceive to be as strong, Delvin. Which one do you take out if you're FF, if any?
I would just like to get rid of the Guan Yu, I think, as FF here. That healing, I think he had like 27,000 healing. Was very potent and made the team fights very hard for them. And they died for the Humbats, which is honestly a fine ban as well.
Well, they went to auto lock the Kali, so they perceive this god to be more important than the Guan Yu. What would you like to see if Food Fighters take, if what's worth that they take that they gave up the Kali for?
Yeah, I think something like Guan Yu Agni here would be a very potent top 2 for Food Fighters. Taking away the Agni and gain that roll flex with it. And obviously, the Guan Yu is just a very strong pick as well for that duo lane.
All right, we're gonna see it here. The Kali gonna be banned. Food Fighters appear to be in a tizzy. What to pick here? We don't even see a hover. We may need to see a Cupid gonna be hovered here for the Food Fighters with as well as a Kepri. So Jesters are gonna be able to run this Guan Yu back if they want to.
Yeah, I don't think you necessarily needed a top 2 this Cupid Kepri. and giving up that Guan Yu to the Royal Jesters is a very, I think that's a bit of a misplay, and we do see Royal Jesters hovering that Guan Yu.
Guan Yu gonna be hovered here as long as with potentially a Bari, and this Food Fighters they may not like these meta gods, but it's gonna hurt to give them up.
Yeah, absolutely. I do think this Kepri Cupid are very strong picks into this Kali, and we do see the Agni Guan Yu come out, which is a very strong duo lane for Royal Jesters, unless they vie to put the Agni back in mid again.
Well, the Agni was on the Food Fighters last time.
Oh, my fault.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I get you. Very strong top 3 from the Jesters. I don't know if the Food Fighters can recover from a draft chasm here, but it's all about execution at the end of the day. And let's see if they can draft a comp they feel like they can easily execute here.
Yeah, absolutely. Seeing this Hurt come in, not a surprise. We're looking at another front-to-back comp from the Food Fighters team. And with this Kepri being able to keep this Hercules and this Cupid alive against this Kali, I think that's a very strong front line.
Mordred also going to be locked in here. Fun fact, Mordred actually does pretty well in the Kali.
Because of the
I think it's someone told me it's because you can use either ult to cancel out Kali ult.
Right. That makes sense.
Yeah. But that's committing a lot, but I don't know. And we don't even know if this Kali's ADC or a jungler yet.
That is true. I think I've seen a lot more Kali ADC than in the jungle, but either role works. And if they bring this Agni in mid, then Kali ADC makes sense. Just a lot of flex coming out from that RJ roster, for sure.
I think it's Agni ADC.
There you go.
Merlin Odin gonna be hovered and locked here for the side of the Royal Jesters, and I really like this comp here, Delvin.
Yeah, that's a lot of lockdown and team fight right there on that RJ comp, and it's going to be a challenge for Food Fighters to sort of isolate frontline with this Kepri Hercules and kill them before they're overrun.
Now, looking at this comp, the Food Fighters haven't picked their mid lane yet. What would you like to see them pick here?
That's a great question. Something I imagine with survivability, especially considering you have this Kali Guan Yu, you want something with survivability and mobility. To escape this enemy team front line. So wherever you can find that, and Scylla is an excellent pick there.
Yeah, Scylla. Okay, so we already talked a little bit about team comps. You know, we don't got to talk about too much as how game 1 went. What do you think the FF Food Fighters have to do to maybe play this game differently to where they get some sort of leg to stand on?
I think with this Food Fighters comp, you really just need to look for picks and to put this Kali behind, considering she is likely in the jungle. Keeping this Kali down and getting a lead in your jungle is probably going to be able to give you a good chance to end this mid to late game against this Royal Jesters comp.
I have to agree. If this game goes late enough, I don't see how this Food Fighters comp ever fights into a Merlin Agni Guan Yu Kali.
Yeah, it's just the team fights are going to be very rough, but if they're able to get a lead early, that would be very helpful for them. Absolutely.
I have to agree with you, Melanie Delvin. You know, I'd be agreeing with you a lot. I disagree whoever drafted this comp for Food Fighters. Not my favorite comp in the world. Particularly, I think Demise did fine last game on it, but I have to imagine he picked this Hercules, was already seeing Agni Guan Yu Kali, and I'm already not a big fan of it. Hercules already doesn't have a great matchup in the Kali, and then besides, you have to run over the Kali, and the way Food Fighters played it, I don't think they're going to, Delvin.
Yeah, it's going to be a hard matchup for sure. I think there is a world with this front line that Food Fighters have that they're able to lock down an enemy, this Odin specifically, this Odin and Guan Yu, and kill them just off like a Kepri pluck. But it's just going to be a very hard game to execute, especially with the Agni Merlin if they're able to free cast.
I have to agree with you, Mini Delvin. I just have to. But I just heard from Little Bird in the Sky. You know, we're ready to switch over, and I'm very excited to get into this game too. At very least, judging off team comps, we won't have a game 3, Mini Delvin. So let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and passion max out of this game. Are you ready, Mini Delvin?
Yeah, look, I wouldn't count the Food Fighters out just yet. I do think there is a chance if they are able to spiral out of control.
Something's happened.
Game, but
look at the jungler. Look at the.
I don't notice it.
The Agni's in the jungle with the Kali
Oh,
ADC, and then we have Hercules solo and Mordred jungle. We've got the conflict.
okay. I see. I see. This is very interesting. Adding jungle is not something I've seen often, and with Aspect, that's also
You have a lot of objective
something.
burn, insane
Yeah,
objective burn. Like maybe the biggest objective burn you could possibly have in a team comp.
that is very true. I mean, if they are able to get on those objectives, and something to point out is that they do have double Sunder, while the opposition Food Fighters has just 3 shells as opposed to having Sunders on their team.
So getting in here though, I would say FF's on a clock here, Mini Delve. If this game lasts too long, I don't know how they'll play it correctly.
It's going to rely on this Kepri, I think, playing very well in the late game, keeping alive whoever this Kali opts to go on, and just praying you're able to deal with that Kali and Merlin late game specifically.
We get into this duo lane here. Just looks standard fair. Ganyu, Kali able to get a little bit of pressure on Kazar and Kepri here, and that's not something you really want to give here, as Kali is going to be able to free farm duo lane until jungles rotate over.
We do see Narwhal Vi to go the Guan Yu heal 2nd level, which means if there's a jungle rotation to this duo lane, this Guan Yu is actually susceptible to getting ganked at this level 2 point in the game. We do see Mordred hovering that jungle, so I do think there's a chance they get a pick on this Guan Yu here.
Mordred is in a very precarious spot. Going to be spotted on this, ward. Will not be collapsed upon, however, but it does foil any gank opportunity for this Food Fighters team.
Yeah, and that's what you needed as a Guan Yu, being able to get to level 3 before you're ganked, getting that dash, that safety net, is exactly what they needed to do. Those wards giving them that opportunity.
Duo lane here. It's going to look like they're neutral. Neither team feel overconfident going for these neutrals just yet, but Agni's going to dash into the mid lane, get the stun out. Bede's going to be forced out of this Scylla quite early. Already the pressure being put onto Skull.
I love that play from the Agni, just getting that beads right off the bat. Gives them a chance to gank the Scylla later on, and just opens up a lot of pressure in this mid lane. For this Merlin, who wants to farm and hyper farm to get to the late game, he has a lot more space and wiggle room now.
That being said, Delvin, I actually want to turn our focus to this Mordred pick. What lane would you like to see this Mordred try to play through?
That's a great question. I think this game, it's similar to previous. I think duo lane, you want to kill this Kali, you want to get this Guan Yu behind as well. I think the Mordred does have kill potential in mid against this Merlin. If Scylla is able to force out the flicker, that's just a free kill. So I'd say duo mid side of the map is probably where I want to see this Mordred play. It's going to be very hard to lock down and kill this Odin at any stage of the game.
Mai shows himself on the right side of the map, which means it's a gold button for the duo lane of the Jesters if they so choose so. But it looks like Hortla's going to spot out Demise. Demise going to look for Hortla's here. Going to be a level up dash. Is going to be good. Get some solid damage off. Hortla's knows that he can't really fight a Mordred early right now.
Yep, Zaggy's got scale.
McVick almost gets killed there. Need to be careful. Almost a huge kill from this Hercules, so I believe he's going Crushers first or something. Pluck, you're going to be good on Narwhal. Narwhal's going to heal it back up. Taking some damage from this Cupid. Knockback, going to be good from Babalu. Support Kali come out there. And looks like this purple buff is going to be looked at here by the Food Fighters.
This is exactly what you want to do. The only issue with this is that Guan Yu does have Sunder, so Food Fighters is going to have to look for a fight here on this purple and not secure.
It looks like they took the minis and are able to walk away here. Not the worst player in the world here, Delvin.
No, that's definitely decent. Just getting a little bit of a lead and putting some pressure on them. Potentially, maybe they were looking to force the jungler to sort of rotate towards that side of the map and just get some pressure.
I have to think about this, but Agni gonna dash into the mid wave. It looks to be going Dagger or Frenzy first. Do you agree with that in Agni jungle?
I cannot tell you what my opinion is on Agni jungle, what item you're supposed to go. I think with the aspect, I think the dagger is probably fine, and that's going to give them the objective presence they want and need, especially with the Sunder advantage, being able to pull these golds early and burn them with the Agni Merlin Kali. is going to give them a big advantage, absolutely. As far as like kill pressure goes, though, I don't know how much that item is going to give for the Agni.
RJ able to maintain a 500 gold lead pretty early here. I can't really tell how they're doing it. Mainly, I think it's because Skull's been shoved and this Agni's been able to get most of the neutral camps here.
Yeah, I think every time I look at mid, I just see that Skull is out of mana and Merlin's full mana, just farming and shoving the waves in her tower. It's just a very brutal position to be in. And I think we can give that partial credit to the Agni getting that gank early and forcing that Scylla beads.
Guan Yu able to back and finish his asparagus right off the rip. Gonna be having an item advantage over the support. Khepri hasn't taken his back yet. I'm gonna see this Khepri gonna go into a Gauntlet of Thebes to start out with. And Saria though, gonna be in trouble, gonna be gone on here. Saria taking half his health, needs to be careful. Dashing by the Agni. Dash though on the Agni has been expended, but not enough damage coming out of the FF to punish him, however. And now it looks like Demise may be in trouble if he's not careful. Khepri gonna rotate in here with Gnar. Double root gonna be good, but no damage coming out, and it looks like the fight's a wash here, Delvin.
Yeah, I'm not a great fan of this you took up from this Khepri because as we mentioned, if you are food fighters in this position, you want to win this early game as early as possible. And putting the Thebes on the Khepri really puts you in a position where you have to play a bit more passive in the early game. As opposed to this Guan Yu who has Rod and can force fights and play poke with his Merlin and just heal up any damage that's dealt to them.
We see the Cupid gonna have to take it back. Agni in the area, but will not be able to go on top of each other. It looks like neither team seem overly eager to take many fights here, Delvin.
Yeah, I think as a RJ, obviously you are looking to scale with this comp. So them just sort of farming and just playing whatever farm they can get early on is fine. And just waiting for someone on this Food Fighters team to reset to pull a Gold Fury. While RJ obviously, or sorry, Food Fighters, I feel like they should be looking for fights earlier on. And as we see a little bit of a duel breakout here in mid lane.
Khepri gonna be able to rotate onto Babalu here. Babalu needs to be careful. Has to use the beads to immune the Fields of Love. Kazar taking a lot of damage here. Khepri Pluck gonna be good. Pluck is so good, but you're gonna be able to jump on Kazar. Huge Khepri able to keep him alive, but Babalu still alive. Can look for any damage. It would be huge. Khepri looking to block autos, and Kazar first blood for his team. A little dicey there, Delvin.
Yeah, but that's what the Khepri's there for. So get this Cupid to be able to get that kill. And we see a fight break out here on the right. Looks like Scylla's out.
Portla's able. I don't think he got the red as he didn't pick it up, so Scylla able to confirm her own red there and escape with her life.
Yeah. Food Fighters getting that kill in duo is absolutely essential to them, as if this Kali is allowed to get ahead, it's going to be a very tough game for them.
Alright, you gotta be spotted on blue buff. Tangent's in quite a bit of trouble here if he gets gone on. He has to dash out preemptively, and Narwhal giving back shots to Yuskos, but may take a big trouble here. Narwhal has to dash out and is perfectly fine. Always love some free back shots there, Delvin.
Yeah, I actually don't know if we do like that though, but you know, everyone's out safe, and that's what's good. We see Mordred invading these camps, getting collapsed on.
Dom Eyes needs to be careful. It does not have the big ult in time. Will get blocked. And Sarah able to find a kill on the Demise. Demise, a bit of a misplay there.
Yeah, definitely a bit of an overextension for those back camps. And unfortunately, the mid laner was able to collapse on him. We see Gold Fury getting pulled by RJ here.
Gold Fury going to be pulled here. Burning quite a bit. Khepri going to be in the area. Does not have Sunder to his name, however. And this should be a free Gold Fury to the Jesters. And Gold Fury goes down. Sunder confirms it. Narwhal destroys the Gold Fury.
Yeah, I mean, with that pick, Raiders pretty much has very little chance to contest that, considering we have a Sunder on this RJ side. And your only real secure as Foo Fighters in that position is that Scylla.
So not really in the area to contest, nor with the farm to contest. Just looking to get some farm here. This Scylla looking to scale. And meanwhile, though, Naga gonna be pulled successfully from the Jesters. More gold into the pocket for the Jesters.
Yeah, this is not a great position to be in as Food Fighters. Giving this RJ comp about a 1k gold lead at the stage of the game is definitely a very stressful position, and I'd like to see more focus put on this duo and potentially mid lane to mitigate these leads. They're coming up.
McThick, though, gonna smell blood in the water. Going this Hercules cage is good. Stun gonna be good enough to break the shield, and has to block the pendulum blade. Try to live. Knock up immunity comes out with the 3. Odin with a jump, not enough just yet. The minions are trying to get this kill. McThick trying to get it. He will get it if the shield pops. The shield does not pop. The tower saves his life. Mordred in the area, gonna try to kill McThick. Herc needs to be careful. Phantom Shell gonna be. The leap gonna be just good enough for now. McThick looking to live still. Demise does not get the abilities off, and neither Soul Laner dies.
That is insane. Both this hurts.
Demise playing with fire. May not know that Agni's in the area. Needs to be quite a bit careful. Hercules gonna get the bash off. Dash gonna go onto the Hercules. Hercules has to pop Phantom Shell to live for now. Root gonna be good from this Mordred. Mordred forced to dash away as Guan Yu has arrived into the station. And it looks like the fight is just gonna be washed.
Yeah, for how much was expended there, it is insane that no one was picked off there in that fight. Especially considering how low the health bars were. Everyone gets out unscathed.
Demise needs to be careful. Does not realize there's a bunch of bushwalkies in the area, and will get bursted down. Nice play there from the side of the Jesters to camp the blue buff to get a kill. Kepri gonna be in the area. Adam Yuska is gonna call Hercules to come try to contest this, but the blue buff goes the way of the Jesters. And nice aggressive plays in the Jesters. Needs to be careful. Skull gets his ults off, but not enough damage. And Serio solo Skull into the mid lane. And now Adam, maybe looking for a return kill, can hit the pluck with a lot of damage, but the heal is going to be just too much as Yuskas cannot find the return kill. And Jesters up 3-1 and 2K gold lead.
That was very unfortunate for Foo Fighters because both of those kills that just occurred, this Kepri was just out of range to get those ultimates off to resurrect them. And it looks like RJ are taking that momentum and going to Pyromancer.
And there's not going to be a lot of contention here out of the FF, just not in range at all. And it looks like this game has shades of last game here, Mini.
Yeah, we're just seeing RJ just propel this lead. I'd say the key difference, though, is that we have these late game picks that are getting this lead, which makes it even more potent that they are getting this lead this early. And I think their ability to pull golds is so much easier than the Food Fighters team, so their ease of objective play along with this lead is going to make the game very hard for Foo Fighters to come back.
I have to agree with you. Agni able to get his rage online just now. Kali maybe looking for a fight here. Will not, however, choose to jump in. One saving grace here. It looks like this Cupid has a little bit of a gold lead onto this Kali.
Yeah, that is very important at the stage of the game because that means your ability to prevent this Kali from going to the golds and help burn them is a bit better. And this Cupid being able to maintain that lead is absolutely important. We do see a lot of pressure coming out from this Merle and Guan in mid, however.
Kepri gonna get dashed on by the Agni. Agni has just been able to dash unabated this game so far, Delvin, and that's kind of just been what Jesters just been able to do what they want.
Yeah, absolutely. This Agni's been pretty safe. He is a little deep here, but it looks like he's able to just kite out. Kepri's not too interested in going on him.
Gets the pluck good onto the Agni, but he's just gonna dash out for the trouble. Meanwhile, though, Kazar gonna get gone on by this Guan Yu. Surely we saw all of them in the jungle. We killed Mordred, though, going to go and get the beats off the Agni cage. He's going to go try to catch the Phantom Shelling Mordred. Mordred, though, going to burn. Huge Kepriel keeps the Mordred alive as Mexan Tangents finds the Agni in the back. But meanwhile, Surya is huge ability dump onto the back. Tangents still going to find another one. It's a 2-for-2. FF still trying to fight here. Kepri, though, 1 health. Guan Yu gets the heal off, but the beat left in Serio. And he's blink up, but Mexican Tangent still looking for him. Gonna be able to not get enough damage and Mexican Tangent has to fight, but dashing by the skull gonna be good. And 3-for-3 so far for each side, as now FF able to get the advantage shutdown onto Inserio here.
Yeah, I think that was just very well played from both teams, but I'd say the highlights are this Kepri for Food Fighters being able to get that ult off. The Scylla just pumped out so much damage, and the Herc CC just really helped them keep that fight even with this RJ team.
And Serio kind of got bailed on there. I don't even know if it was him or Guan Yu just trying to keep somebody else up, but Serio kind of got left there and let Skull and Tangents be able to clean him up at the end of that fight.
Yeah, absolutely. As this RJ team, you do just need to stay up as grouped as possible, and unfortunately they were not able to stay grouped up, split slightly, which led to picks.
Goldfield going to be looked at here from FF potentially. Mexican is in the area. They're actually going to loop on this Collie. Collie needs to play this very carefully. He's going to try to clear the wave. Sees the Hercules now. Needs to be careful. Leap going to be good, but not enough so far. We missed the pluck. No Fields of Love available just yet, or will not be expended, and Collie able to get back to her tower. Meanwhile, though, Mordred finds Guan Yu into the mid lane, and we'll just try to get poke off. No poke available. And now, though, since you've been spotted as FF, you're going to allow this Jesters team going to rotate in here. Guan Yu going to be face taking at the Gold Fury. Needs to be careful if you're FF. Spotted out on Oracles. Agni is ult by Mordred. Gonna catch the Agni. Agni, be careful. Gets his dash cut by Fields of Love. A lot of damage. And good. Hortless dies. Kepro able to get Demise back up. And now huge room from the Kepri fight. Normal forced to ult out, but Demise gets found in the back line by Babalui. Babalui be able to free cast half health. Guan Yu, though, not high himself either. Odin able to get the cast off, but Mexican Tangents finds Syria. Odin finds Yuskos, and now the fight is still breaking down. Narwhal needs to be careful. 1 health. Collie jumps in on the back. Still able to beat the knockup. Has to self-crush to peel off, which is going to leave by himself. Mexican Tangents a 4-for-2 for the side of the Jesters, and they're looking at this Gold Fury.
Yeah, that was an insane fight. I do like the initiative from Food Fighters to attempt to pull that gold, but unfortunately without Sunders, and the burn, they did not really pose a threat to RJ, so RJ was able to play slow, and we saw that initially the Odin was just farming right for quite some time before even rotating to that gold fight.
I have to agree with you on that one. Now, FF tried to fight there. Now they're down 5k gold into a comp. You can't afford to be behind. What do you think they have to do differently for the rest of this game now that they're behind?
It's a very tough position because the objective play is a lot weaker considering their only real secure is Scylla, which means you kind of have to get the Scylla in and you have to look for fights. But fighting from this deficit is going to be very challenging. I think your best bet might be a defense.
Mordred be able to barely get out with his ult there. Almost caught, which would have been disastrous. I have to agree with you. They kind of just have to play a defense or do what they did last game and just wait for RJ to kind of flub up. It's just that so much team fight, it's hard to flub up, you know? Yuska's though looking for Narwhal. Narwhal going to take a lot of damage here. Careful. Meanwhile, Cupid getting free casted on Fields of Love, going to be used on Agni. Agni forced to beads. Will not be enough damage to kill Cupid just yet. Hortla is going to look for try to get a kill, but gets killed by Demise. And a little bit of misplay there from the RJ being a bit over-aggressive.
Yeah, and that's what you need as Street Fighters. As you said, to abuse the mistakes of RJ as best as you can to get back into this game.
Collie, though, looking to test this red buff. Kepri going to be under this Collie. Kazar does not have Field of Love available to him if a fight were to break out. But there will be no fight to be had. Unless you're in mid lane, though. Demise just looking to get some poke off in. It looks like Demise. What item do you think that is he's going there right there?
Let's see here. Demise, Mordred. Oh, I actually don't know what those two items build into.
It's a health physical defense item, I think.
Yeah. So
is it like Nemian?
It could be Nemian. Yeah, it could be Nemian.
Mystical?
I'm not quite sure. I don't think it's mystical.
McThick, though, going to be found on these oracles. Gets some weird interaction happens there with the cave.
Yeah.
He got snapped back to ground. But meanwhile, though, Kazar getting gone on by Bubble on you, going to be good enough to stun the Kepri. Kazar still needs to be careful, but this tower be able to do a little bit of a number on Collie. But Odin going to be rotating in here. Kazar is none the wiser. Kazar's life at very much at risk. You're going to try to trade out. Guan Yu sees the Odin, needs to get damage off, but will not be enough. Babalui finds Kazar on the left. Meanwhile, though, on Pyromancer, a fight is broken out. McThick gets the tower. I thought that was Pyromancer going down. What we find, this Agni here, Hortless, be able to get picked off here by Mexican Tangents, and I will say Mexican Tangents has played this Herc pick quite correctly.
Yeah, absolutely. I do like this Herc pick so far in this match. The displacement value we've seen has been absolutely incredible, and the setup for the Scylla. We do see a Phoenix Siege here.
Yeah, Pyromancer not usually worth the Phoenix, but RJ with an incredible macro play, able to grab this Phoenix for relatively free. Adam Yuska is not able to do enough to defend that, and now FF doesn't even get the Pyromancer as they chose to try to back in time.
Yeah, we have to be aware. The awareness check there was like a nat 1. Like, you cannot be letting a team get a Phoenix at 19 minutes for absolute free. It's just a brutal position to be in as Food Fighters, considering I think their best bet is to play on those defenses. And now RJ is going to have a really easy time transitioning to this pyro fire side of the map.
I have to agree with you on that one. Nemi Line did go for the demise. We see about a 7k gold lead here for this Ryo Jesters team, and we see their strong power spikes coming online here. And it's just going to get even more difficult. I do think there is a silver lining. I don't believe Agni has his rage fully stacked just yet.
Yeah, but at this point in the game, like, the Agni doesn't really need it. What we need is this burn, and as we see, they're going to go to this fire giant. And they have these Sunders, they have this burn, they should just go to RJ.
Yeah, Kepri going to be in the area, but it doesn't look like they're going to try to contest super hard. We see a boulder come through for not, however. And it looks like Jesters are just going to be content on taking this right lane, let this Cupid split off left.
Yeah, I think Foo Fighters have just been giving a bit too much to this RJ team, and now they're just taking a mile with the inch that they were given. And we see RJ getting this shove and right, taking all these towers down and expanding this gold lead further.
Important note that Odin did just back, so if FF were to look for a defense somewhere, they would have a man up if Cupid were to take his back. They don't know Odin is there, however, as he's not been spotted on the map, and we're going to see Narwhal take it back, and RJ is going to opt to spend their gold rather than siege here.
Yeah, I think that's the proper play for RJ. We have this Gold Fury coming up, so they can go to this gold and siege mid. And they just get that lead further up, spend your gold. We do see a fight breaking out of this blue buff.
Yeah, you need to be careful. It's an awkward place to have a fight here, Delphin.
Yeah.
Not ideally where I have my 21-minute fights, but
No, absolutely not. RJ hasn't spent their gold yet. You want to just secure the lead that you have and continue pushing.
see RJ going to be grouping up for this Gold Fury. Not yet the Ancient Fury, so not super important just yet. Skull, though, that'd be quite a bit far up. He is a Scylla, however. Will be able to dash out if need be. But kind of looks like FF doesn't know how they want to play this map so far.
Yeah, it's an awkward, playing the map at this stage of the game is awkward considering all the advantages RJ have, both in comp and relic selection, I'd say, and just how they played the early game, getting that lead. Food Fighters really needs to find a place on the map to start to win, but unfortunately RJ is grouped up.
Tangent's going to be spotted out here. He had to use his dash already. Beads are going to be expended. Guan Yu able to get his beads, but stun is going to be good here from the Odin, but Phantom Shell going to be enough to keep Mexican Tangent alive for now. Dashing from the Agni, trying to get the last hit. Barely gets it. Mexican Tangent falls down. Hortlood finally gets on the board, but RJ, they smell blood. They have a pick. They used quite a bit of ult, but not enough to dissuade them. Scylla Crush going to be good. Mordred finds one in the back, hits his frontliner, and down goes Merlin. Merlin for blink out already. Going to be taking a lot of damage. Scylla Crush does not hit for quite a bit, but this RJ team are just healing, and Demise, however, is not. Phoenix goes down. Needs to be careful. Jump in here from the Odin. We'll get some damage off. Kepril going to be used to try to get Kazoo, and Titan is the next target. Titan is going to be swinging here, though. Narwhal needs to be careful not to get his dagger executed, and he does. Narwhal fails to use a dagger. Dagger is away. Demise is 5k health and dying. Yuskos goes down to Merlin. Now 1 health is the Addy. Kazar dashes blood. Gets one, and the dagger is back on the ground. I believe to her. Coley looking to fight still. Scylla needs to be careful. Scylla gonna get got here from Baba Louie and the Odin. And it's though Hercules spawns back in though. Odin barely living is this Odin. Mordred not damage. However, Hercules looking to try to get it, but Baba Louie is full health. You need to be careful. Coley gonna do a lot of damage. Healing is Odin. Odin is just using Spirit Rub to his advantage. It's just not enough damage coming out from the tanks of the Food Fighters.
Yeah, what an insane fight. I think one thing I'll say is I think we need to get this dagger away from Narwhal, because I think that's 2 games in a row where they've tried to end it. Unfortunately, Narwhal did not get the dagger to resurrect himself. But Baba Louie was able to do so much on the Kali pick there with that resustain. The Odin shields were not manageable for that Food Fighters team there. But luckily, they were able to maintain their Titan room.
I about to say, worst case scenario, game's over. They avoided that one.
Yes, absolutely. They managed to keep the game, which is what you want.
And they got their left Phoenix up.
And
I lagged that, didn't I? Is it me or Delvin?
I think they do just need it for... Yep.
Oh,
Sorry,
it was Delvin.
Sorry, I'm back. My internet was dying there for a second. I apologize,
thought I was
guys.
dying. I was like, oh, no.
No. Y'all are good. My internet was pooping itself.
All right,
But
Delvin, back to your point, though.
Yeah, I think as Foo Fighters, we just need, similar to last game, we need to look for picks here, and we need to look for fights, and we need to make sure that RJ does not get the next Fire Giant.
Cupid gonna be on his back camps here. Cannot afford to get picked here. They're not appear to be hunting him, however, as they're none the wiser that he's here. I think Jesters maybe they're doing something weird on this side of the map. Maybe they're just looking for someone because Fire Giant's about to be up. This is not really where you want to be.
Yeah, for sure, absolutely for sure. I think they were looking to pick that Cupid, but now it looks like they are going to start grouping up and warding for this Fire Giant. And we do see Food Fighters grouped up pretty much as 5 as well, looking for picks, which I think is exactly what they need to be doing.
McThick able to get his back off here, so we're gonna have a Fire Giant tango here. 25 minutes in, heavily favored towards the Royal Jesters, a double sunder and just a massive gold lead. But there's a reason why we play the game, Delvin. Anything could happen.
Exactly. A game is always winnable until it's not, and the game's not over, so it's winnable for both teams. We see this Fire Giant looking to get pulled by RJ.
And Saria forced to blink over the wall. This is very interesting pull there.
Yeah.
But Fire Giant gonna be repull here. Looking for it. We see this Mordred maybe looking to lead off with his ult here. Gonna get a flank off. This Fire Giant though is burning way too fast for Flyers to be comfortable with. Rock gonna be used to bounce off multiple normal Fire Giant, and Demise dies in the back end. But the dagger does go back to the way of the Royal Jesters. They're looking for pick, but Skull finds Hortless. Kepri still alive. Dash in from the Hurt could prove treacherous. Wind Gust gonna be good enough to keep him alive for now, but Hercules gonna need to walk out. Dash is good and a huge route to be able to keep his team up for now. Still a lot of damage to come out here from the Jesters, but they'll be content on going back left or mid here with their full team outside of Hortless. Phoenix spawning in 3. Skull needs to be careful. Dagger gonna be on this Odin. McThick probably uses it better than Narwhal. Kepri gonna be looking for a flank here. Gonna look for Insaria. Maybe a pluck here could be huge. Looking for Insaria here. Pluck not gonna be good enough to find anyone. Root hits 2, however. Kepri gonna get the boulder off. Hurt gonna shove 2 out of tower. Meanwhile, on the back end though, we see never mind. Mexican Tenders falls there. A huge amount of damage from Insario. Phoenix goes down. McThick forces Kazar back into this fountain, and this Titan gonna be re-looked at. Titan burning relatively fast. Damage needs to come out here, and it's not enough. Chaos Titan goes the way of the Jesters. 2-0. Jesters victory here, Delvin.
Yeah, I think this game is pretty simple to wrap up. I mean, RJ just got a big lead with a late game comp, and we're able to just push every objective with the burn that they had. And although Food Fighters was able to get a pick in that last fight, it was on the Agni, which I'd say if you're RJ, arguably that is the pick you would want to occur the most out of anyone on your team dying. Is this Guan Yu, this Kali, offers just a lot to these team fights late game, and Odin is just so tanky and impossible to kill.
Yeah, and if you're Jesters, you have to feel really good about that game, don't you, Mini Delphin? Yeah, that was kind of a the scoreboard may not utterly show, but that was a stomp.
Yeah, absolutely. They just compiled a massive lead with a comp that probably shouldn't be able to have gotten that lead early. And I really think a large part of this is because they were given this Guan Yu. This Guan Yu pick proved to be very potent in game 1, and unfortunately it got through again to this team in the game 2, allowing them to just survive a lot of fights throughout the early to mid game, and then obviously sustain up in the late game.
And if you're FF here, Mini Delvin, anything you take away from this game to try to get yourself better for next week?
I think it's drafting definitely could use some work on this team. I think you don't want to give this RJ team Guan Yu, and also just tattooing Kepri Cupid was a little rough. But I think the main thing outside of draft is just making sure we're grouping up together and playing the team fights earlier on, and preventing this RJ team from getting, or just teams in general, from getting leads early and playing the objectives.
Well said, Mr. Mini Delvin. With that, though, Mini Delvin, it's been a fun cast. Eventually, we just have to wrap it up, Yeah,
absolutely.
We can't just stay up here all day. I mean, we could, but I'm be honest, you don't want to hear me for that long. I'd like to thank Wolfie Pup for coming down here, being the spectator for us. Mini Delvin, always fun. Second ever cast. Good job, Mini Delvin.
Thank you. Honored to be here.
And with that, though, we'll wish you all a good night and come back on Sunday for their next OSL games. I believe we'll have either a Sparta or a Creek game at 3 o'clock slot. That'll be our next stream. I believe AP is on Saturday. That's our actual next stream. But no one wants to hear Snoozism say anything on Jaw. All right, with that though, let's have a good night here. Mini Delvin, give us some.
Oh, yo, catch y'all later. Have a good night, everyone.